All right, folks, let's pick up right where we left off. Part two here. Part two coming at you. Like I said, I got 15 minutes to rock this, so we're going to do what we do here. Like I said, folks, within a minute and 18 seconds of the police encountering Stephon Clark, he was dead. If you looked at that, if you counted the timer, and if you were paying attention to detail like I was, that boy died. That man died from, I would venture to say, in between a minute and 15 seconds and a minute and 18 seconds. That's when he took his last breath. Because if you looked at the infrared, which shows a little bit better, not the police, try not to pay attention to the police body cam, because that doesn't show you a true picture of this murder. That doesn't show you a true picture of this assassination, because that's what it is, folks. You don't give anyone, you don't walk up on anyone, I don't care, to get any given situation. Because first and foremost, I think I said it before, every human goes into what two modes, right? Fight or flight. He chose to fly. The police didn't give him an opportunity to say, hey, why are you running, and nothing. They open up on him. Again, I gotta go back to the kid in the school shooting. Oh, this kid was out of place. This kid was obviously somebody that y'all knew about, but no one took a shot at him. The police knew that kid. They had runs in him before. Don't get it twisted. That's why they stopped him, not because they just happened to run up on him, because the police was probably going to the scene and recognized him. Let me check this little motherfucker out. His brother didn't have the wherewithal to say, you know what, let me call the police and say, hey, this motherfucker said he was going to do something today. Y'all better watch him. The parents get on TV and say, well, we didn't know. That's bullshit. You got 30 folks, this is a steadfast rule right here, and believe it. Believe this. You give any person 30 days of being around him constantly him or her on a constant 30-day basis, you'll know who that person is. You'll learn their habits, you'll learn their moods, you'll learn what makes them tick. 30 days. That's all you need. If you're gonna like or dislike somebody, you'll figure it out in 30 days. That's it. Let's get on back to the police here. Oh, wait a minute, folks. I apologize. I pushed the wrong button. Let me get on back here. Or keep going. Let me keep going back here just a little bit. There we go.
See your hands! 570 down. No movement. We're going to need additional units.
Of course he's down. Y'all fired 20 bullets down there. Of course he's down.
Let's see your hands!
Why?
You alright? You did? Yeah, I'm good. He was still pointing when I saw again. You alright, dude?
That's a crock of shit right there, folks. Again, I wanted you to pay attention. That's why I kept telling you pay attention to that infrared, because that infrared tells a story. It debunked everything that these police say. He was still pointing. No, he was not. That boy was dead at a minute, and in between a minute 14 and a minute 18, he was dead. We're now at a minute and 53 seconds. Some 45 seconds later, and you still talking about, let me see your hands. That man, that person, after you fired 20 rounds down there, hadn't moved in over 30 seconds. And you talking about he's still pointing. What's he pointing?
I got him at gunpoint, dude. You do a tactical reload, okay?
Do a tactical reload on somebody that ain't moving.
Charles 5-4, I want everybody to know we're fine. No officers are hit. Subject's down in the backyard.
Okay. Notice that part right there where it shows where it says within 2 minutes. No, we just debunked that, folks. Because in a minute and 18 seconds, that party was over. There was no more fight left in young Stephon Clark. There was no more life left in Stephon Clark. At a minute and 18 seconds, that was a wrap for him. He was full of holes. He was dead. Now we're at 2 minutes and 17 seconds in this, and they still haven't gone over to see if they could render any first aid at all. So they were right. Within 2 minutes, you had killed somebody. But actually, within the first minute and a half, it didn't even take you a minute and a half. Let's keep saying it. 118. That's why I called it this. 118 part 1 and part 8 part 2. Axon body cam. It just shows you how the police execute people for no fucking reason. That's exactly what it did. On 2018, on March 19th at, what's that? 4:29. Doesn't say AM or PM, but chances are it's probably AM. 049. Yep, that's AM. 4:29 in the morning. Y'all out killing motherfuckers. Some people say, well, we don't know what went on before that. It made no difference what went on before that. The police got out that car. That's what went on before that. The helicopter mistaked this kid for breaking into his grandma's yard. That's what went on before that. They killed that man within a minute and 18 seconds of them running into him. That's what went on before that. You don't need to see nothing else. End the story. We're only going through the formalities to see how much the police will fucking lie.
Security, we're not moving in until we have more. Can't see the subject's hands. He's still not moved. 375.
Maybe he's dead.
Hey, can you hear us? Police department, can you hear us?
We need to know if you're okay. We need to get you medics, but we can't go over here and get you help unless we know you don't have your weapon. Let's have the next unit just bring it on these ones in case he's pretending, but let's just.
Alright. Hey, when you guys want to go hands, cover him.
My thing is, folks, it don't take a rocket science to know that that person that's laying on that ground is dead. It really doesn't. It doesn't take a rocket science. Well, as that ended right there, folks, what was the purpose of them handcuffing him? So let's move on to the next clip right quickly. It says the police department says officers were responding to what someone said was breaking in the windows nearby. Well, I'm upset, so let me try and read that again. The police department said officers were responding to a report that someone was breaking car windows nearby. Deputies in Sacramento County Sheriff's Department helicopter spotted Clark in a backyard and told deputies he had shattered a window with a toolbar. That's important to remember, folks, because if you went back to the last clip, you saw that man come across that fence and he had nothing in his hand. So could it be the fault of the helicopters that when the report came in, they just picked up the first warm body that they saw via that flare? It's actually what it's called. Infrared. If you ever been in the military, when I said flare, you knew exactly what I was talking about. That was the initial crime. That's why within a minute and 18 seconds of the Sacramento Police Department encountering Stephon Clark, that he was summarily executed. Because the worst thing he did that night was bust somebody's window with a toolbar. That's the worst thing he did, folks. And for that, the police was judge, jury, and execution. In a minute and 18 seconds, these two white men made a decision to gun down whoever was on the other end. These two white men had no regard for life, but you folks want to tell me white supremacy isn't the biggest religion in this fucking world. Because only a white man would have the mentality to do some shit like that. The average man would have thought and said, wait a minute, let me see what's going on here before I take another human's life. White men have no regard for life itself. They don't have regard for their own life. Somebody want to talk about black on black crime. Shit, you stuff tunas in a box big enough. You stuff a bunch of dogs into a small cage. Eventually they're going to turn on each other. I'm not equating black people to dogs, but shit, look at Chicago. You can't build out. You got to build up. You don't give the folks in Chicago no reach out to get out of the ghetto. You don't give them no reward for it. No, you had this guy Sotomayor here saying, well, nobody told him to take this. No, but no, just like racism, being a dumbass is a learned mentality. It's a cycle. The cycle of staying in the ghetto. The cycle of getting paid to stay in the ghetto and to have children. But that's still no reason for the police to treat a man with 1 minute and 18 seconds of encountering him, they kill him. Only in white America does that happen, and nobody gets penalized for it. As a black cop that shot a white lady, and he is going on trial for that. Again, folks, we make up 13% of the population. How we ever gonna be equal? Keep fucking with us. Keep bashing our children. Keep killing our children. Keep locking up and destroying our families. Sooner or later. Just like Trump and this woman gonna bring him down, we gonna get tired and we gonna start exacting revenge. When that white kid shot up that school, there was not one black kid that was put in front of that news camera. Y'all pretended that school was entirely white. We can't let y'all folks know that black kids live in the suburbs too.
To a report that someone was breaking car windows nearby. So that's the initiating criminal activity that they're looking for. So keep that in mind. Deputies in a Sacramento County Sheriff's Department helicopter spotted Clark in a backyard and told deputies that he had shattered a window with a toolbar. Police approached Clark, who they initially believed was armed with a gun. Police said Clark held an object that he extended in front of him as he approached two officers. Again, his backyard. The officers believe.
Now, I want you to stop that right there, folks. Remember, I told you, pay attention to that infrared because it tells the complete opposite story of what those fucking police are telling you. At no time did you see that man in that infrared reach toward, lean, stretch out his arm or anything. You saw him running, and the last thing you saw him doing was going down trying to put his hands behind his head. You did not see him outstretch his arm in any way. You did not see anything in his hand in any way. So that FLIR, that infrared, completely debunks anything that those police said. Fearing for their safety, that's what they always use. That's the moniker of the police department. You ever notice when you look at the police cars now, it doesn't say protect and serve. It should say, we just gonna kill you on sight. They shot that kid 20 times within 1 minute and 18 seconds of encountering him. Within 1 minute and 18 seconds, they deduced that he was such a harm to society that let me take this subject up. You hear another incident where a sheriff is hearing, you hear the sheriff say, don't stop him. Don't do some pit maneuver and mess up my cause. take the subject out by deadly force by any means necessary. As a man going 10 miles, what he wasn't going 35 miles an hour. They pit maneuver and put him in a ditch, but they still shot him. I got to get on up at you, folks.